Which has been a big embarrassment for a long time.
We're good? All right. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Let's call the Oglesby City Council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Here.
Cullinan.
Here.
McDermott.
Here.
Moyle.
Here.
Kern.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
All right. First item, number 4, public comment on agenda items only. Is it on the, this is the time for agenda stuff, though, is it?
It's on the agenda for the end of the meeting. I can wait till the other way.
Yeah, because so what you're referring to is executive session, technically, so I don't think that really counts as an agenda item, does it?
No.
Yeah, I apologize. All right, is there anybody else? No, okay, we'll try to get there. Number 5, approve minutes from the March 3rd, 2025 regular session. If there's no additions, corrections, or modifications, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 6, approve bills presented for payment in the amount of $764,546.22. If there's no additions, corrections, or modifications, can I get a motion to approve the bills?
So the bills were a little bit more this month because, and Rich can maybe speak a little bit more to this, but we had a purchase come in about a year early for these regulators, I believe they are. And so that, if you take a look at the bills, is about $480,000. So they're significantly higher than they normally would be, but there is a reason for that. So.
Still need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 7, approve payroll for March 14th, 2025 in the amount of $70,087.21.
Make a motion to approve payroll.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. Number 8, approve ordinance number 1286-031725, redevelopment agreement with KEI. So we did have one modification that was made to it. I'll just kind of go around the room, give people an opportunity to talk. Cullen?
Yeah. So something we discussed last meeting, we put it on file. We took a look at it, and basically the whole idea here is that with this TIF agreement, I think they're putting in, maybe they're investing $6 million some dollars.
700,000. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're investing a certain amount of money into kind of the building. And we're going to do like a 50-50 on the increment generated by the improvements to the building. We did make one addition, or one edit rather, to the existing agreement, and we're specifically noting that the jobs, this is kind of another thing we included in the agreement, which is that the developer agrees to annually employ a minimum of 20 full-time employees as of January 1st, 2026, 40 as of January 1st, 2027, 60 as of January 1st, 2028, 80 as of January 1st, 2029, and 100 as of January 1st, 2030. But we wanted to make sure that we're keeping those jobs in town. And so, of course, we think KEI is going to be a great partner, but just for the city's kind of bottom line, we made sure we inserted that language, but we don't anticipate any issues.
Well,
I am reviewing it now. I just had a question on one of the lines here. Developer shall annually provide a certification of satisfaction of such condition in a form acceptable to the city. So when we're measuring these full-time employees, does that mean that we are determining that how they're reporting it is acceptable? So if we determine if they're remote, they're not actually here.
I think your TIF council will probably review that as well, but yes, their payroll records would reveal where they're working, I think, Hillary. that's something
Okay.
we'll want to look at.
Okay.
McDermott?
Thank you, Hillary. That's the question I had. I'm fine with it if that's the way it goes. Go ahead.
Baldridge?
If they'll agree to that, I'll be happy to have them come to our city.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so my 2 cents on it is it had language in there already where it basically said that the employees had to be based per the project. So it was a little vague. I think this just kind of clears it up a little bit more detail that it's going to be attached out of Oglesby here. So, all right, if there's no other further questions, can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make
Um,
that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
I
Kern.
Number 9, ordinance number 1285-031725, increasing total number of A and B liquor license from 20 to 21. I guess it's not attributed to me anymore, but so we talked about this quite a bit. In fact, I think the feed went out last time, unfortunately, but we can go around the room if anybody has any extra comments on it. Colin?
No, I think we discussed everything we needed to discuss at the last meeting. Yeah, good.
One?
I'm okay.
McDermott?
Well, we clarified the difference between the A and B liquor license, correct? And I believe other than that, that's the only issue I really had. Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, like Commissioner McDermott just stated, I would like to, after this, go ahead and distinguish the difference between an AB and liquor licenses from now on. So that's all I have.
Okay. Yeah, so we talked about it quite a bit last time. I will say, since last meeting, Two Brothers has pulled a liquor license request, so they haven't submitted it yet, but that way when they submit, we should have something available for them. So if there's no other further comment, if I can get a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
I
Kern.
Aye. Number 10, old business. We have no items listed. Number 11, new business. A, place on file services agreement with Test Incorporated. McDermott.
All right, Tess, once again, give us their contract proposal. I sent it all to you. If you have any questions, let me know. Pat looked it over. It looks like it's good. We just need to get it approved.
Aldridge?
Nothing.
Colin?
Mm-mm.
Well,
I'm okay with it.
all right. I just want to say I've been very happy to be able to work with Test over the years. When they took on the contract for Oglesby, I don't even 100% know if they knew what they were getting into with all of the challenges that we have. Matter of fact, I don't even think distribution was in the original contract, and they still took care of all of our distribution. So I've been very happy with Test, and I don't know what we do without them. So I look forward to keeping that relationship going. So if there's no other questions, comments, concerns, if I can get a motion to place on file.
I'll make a motion that we place on file service agreement with Tess Incorporated.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Thank you.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
I
Kern.
Aye. B, review and accept or reject bids for pool repairs. Baldridge.
Yeah, we have a lot of problems with the pool. It's old. I believe it was built in the 1950s. But we had a bid come in from a local repair guy that has done it in the past, and we trust him. He's done a great job up to this point. He does things for free. We had another company come in from Ohio that had placed the bid. So at this point, I would like to reject the bid that came in from the Ohio firm. And the next one will be to award it.
For the awarding of a bid
Oh, the next
to
one's
Putnam County Painting. Yeah.
award.
So we have to reject the bids that came in pursuant to the proposal you advertised for, and there was only one, and it was from the Ohio company, correct, Rich?
Yep.
At a cost of about 20 or 25,000 more than the proposal you had from the local contractor before that. Rich just thought out of an abundance of caution, he'd go out and advertise for it, and he only got one bid, and it was significantly more. So the first thing you should do is reject that bid, I think.
Okay. Does anybody want to comment on that? I'll just make it open. We can do that because we're going to talk about the next meeting or the next item anyways. Okay. If you want to make a motion to reject the bids,
Make a motion to reject the bids for the pool repairs.
I'll second that motion.
roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Should we specify whose bid we're rejecting with the motion?
There was only
Rejecting all
one.
bids.
The bids that
Okay.
came in, because the other one would be like a quote or a proposal.
Oh, okay. Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. C, award bid for pool repairs to Putnam County Painting due to emergency necessity. Baldridge.
Again, the pool either at this point has to be fixed or we're not opening it. It's leaking a lot of water and it would make no sense to open it without these repairs. We have a guy that has done very well for our pool and our community in the past, and happy to have him go ahead and try and fix this again.
We'll go around the room. Cullinan?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not an expense you want to incur, but I mean, obviously we see just how highly people in our community value having a public pool as an amenity, as witnessed by kind of Peru's goings on. So, you know, at some point, you know, maybe have a greater discussion about it. But I think in the here and now, of course, I think this money should be put into the pool and keep it open for at least handful more, or I don't even say a handful more years, but for the foreseeable future. Let's go with that.
Well,
I agree. I think it's important to have a community pool, and we can't open without the repairs, so we got to move forward.
McDermott?
The pool is definitely utilized. It helps the community. It's part of the community. It's been there for years. A lot of people have been and goes there still. That's all I got to say. We're going to pull through.
Okay. My comments on it, these are the things that kind of suck as an elected official to have to get in front of you, because you want to make sure you're spending taxpayer money properly and right and everything like that. If I remember right, it was like 6 or 7 years ago, we had to save the Oglesby pool program because there was a $72,000 cost for that. This one's a $62,000 cost. And we're at the point of, we don't even have a lot of time to talk about it. It's either we fix it or we don't, and then we don't have a pool for the season. So, I do think 62,000 is a lot. It's a service that you know, I've talked about this in the past. All of our parks are not a revenue generator. They're a service that we provide to our residents, or the people that come to the area, and things that they love. So I think at least for this year, we need to spend the 62,000. But I do agree with Commissioner Cullen, and I think we need to probably start launching into a more long-term discussion about the life cycle of what that's going to take to maintain that pool for 10, 20, 30 years from now, because we know that it already operates at like an $80,000 loss. So that's a very tough pill to swallow. Do we need to make that be 90,000, 5,000 more because we're putting in a certain amount of maintenance into it every year or something like that? So, I mean, these are the things that I think we need to have a long-term discussion. But for now, it's an emergency. And I think if we were to close the pool on a moment's notice, I think people would be very upset, and that would be a problem. So if there's anybody have anything else, open floor. Okay, in that case, if we can get a motion.
I'll make a motion to award bid for pool repairs to Putnam County Painting due to emergency necessity.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge,
Aye.
Cullinan,
Aye.
McDermott,
Aye.
Moyle,
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. D, resolution to expend motor fuel tax funds for repairs to the I-39 interchange. McDermott.
Okay, I'm looking for a resolution to expand the motor fuel tax funds for repair to the I-39 interchange. We have a bid of $23,880. It's a spray patch on the areas of I-39 from Love's Truck Stop to McDonald's in Oglesby. The people we have is Ace in the Hole. They're telling us it'll last about a year or so, and it'll take us actually 3 years to actually go over the whole bridge. So this will help us get to that step. All right. It's something we definitely need. The road's getting bad, and this is what people first look at when they come to Oglesby. It's something we need to do. Any questions?
Baldridge.
The road's terrible. It's not a secret. Someone's going to get hurt. The holes out there are just, it's embarrassing, and it's someone's going to get hurt out there. I think we also, again, on another subject here, we will have to look into it, because it needs a lot more work than some holes patched.
Mm-hmm.
Cullen.
Yeah, Rich kind of said what I was going to say. It's kind of another thing where we're putting a Band-Aid on it, which we should absolutely. but there's going to have to be a longer, there's going to have to be a discussion moving forward about what exactly we do there long term.
Well,
When you said it would last a year, do you mean to actually get it completed, the project completed, or?
To get the spray this done, this will last about a year, year and a half possibility. To actually get
The repair.
the actual
Oh, okay.
repair of the bridge is going to take 3 years to get to that step. In the meantime, we got to do something because that street's dangerous. Okay? Somebody's going to get hurt, and we don't want anybody hurt.
Right.
Yes.
It should improve for at least a few years.
Okay.
It'll, it's not gonna last like an overlay.
Right.
But there's federal aid money available that the city gets an allotment of each year. And so, there's also a 4-year cycle for that money. So we're looking at, in about 4 years, we would have enough allotted where we can borrow against some future allotments, but have enough also, kind of saved up.
I apologize. I misspoke. I said
No.
3.
No problem.
Appreciate you, Ross.
To give you a long-term solution, but
Right.
as you guys said, it's
But
pretty-
for the
Would you be
meantime,
looking at that point to replace the concrete or grinding and overlaying?
that would be over.
Overlaying?
The BS. All of it.
So I can say this, in 2020, to get both sides done of the approaches, it was just short of $800,000. And that was 2020 money. So I don't even know if we got a new update of how much that's going to be. So for the last how many years, we put it in through, there was a Duckworth in Durban when they would have, they'd ask for different projects and stuff like that. That was one of the ones that we would submit every year, and we haven't got that funded. So, when you think about $800,000 to fix it, and 5 years ago money, so it's probably well over $1 million now. I don't like when Mac first told me this, I thought, well, I really don't like the idea of spending $23,000 on something that's only going to last about a year or so. But then when you hear about how bad it is, it's become, there's rebarb in some places that's exposed that we've had to patch and stuff like that. So we do need to do some kind of work for that while we find a long-term, because I think we only generate about $300,000 in motor fuel tax funds every year anyways. So this one project would be like 3 or 4 years worth of all of the city's motor fuel tax fund generation in the first place. So
We're having a hard time getting the grants, and we got to do something.
Yep. Okay. Anybody else, anything on it? Okay. So what are you looking to do here? Because is the resolution drafted? I don't think I saw that yet.
Well, we're going to use motor fuel tax. So if we just have a resolution to expand the MFT funds, I'm looking for approval. As far as I understand, that should be all I need. We're using motor fuel tax.
Yeah, but I think
Do you know what the cost is, man?
Yes, like I stated, $23,880 to do this, the spray patch. Area from I-39.
There's a resolution that is a form right now.
you do have the resolution number,
Yeah, if you,
because I didn't have it there to read
that
off.
would be added afterwards, whatever the next ordinance number is.
1287.
Right.
Resolution 1287.
No,
Yep.
it
No,
would
that'd be
be
ordinance.
MFT 31725.
If you have the number to him, you give it to him so he can read it off for the motion, that'd be great.
Okay.
It's the date, 3/17/20.
Okay. Okay.
And you're also accepting that proposal from this other form.
Right.
As part of that.
That'll be signed later on this evening. You and I gotta sign the forms to get this going.
That's the base in the whole quote.
All right, and then I'd like to make a resolution to expand MFT funds, MFT 317, correct, Becky? For repairs to the I-39 interchange.
And to authorize that's fine?
That's,
Okay. All right,
that's
can
you
I
and
get a
me
second to that?
afterwards.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Kern.
Aye.
The contractor.
I think it's all part of the same thing,
It's a
Ross.
part
We
of
don't need to separately approve the contract, right?
No, usually the resolution's this long, detailed,
Yeah.
long number and all that stuff.
That's
Okay.
my experience.
Okay, as long as we got the right number. If we don't got the right number, then we'll modify it and we'll go from there. E, discuss Walnut Street Bridge awards, bids and awards. McDermott.
Okay, the dry bridge, Walnut Bridge, which originally started out as 2080, it has had an increase. Jim, if you would like to step up. If anybody's got any questions on it, I'm a firm believer you always go to the source, people that know.
So several years ago, we did an inspection for the bridge, and IDOT followed up with another inspection, and we determined that the bridge was deficient, and they were going to post it so low that city trucks couldn't go across, or the fire truck couldn't go across, or a bus. So we talked them down to just restricting the lanes, so we got that accomplished. And at that time, we approached LaSalle County, asking them to share their federal funds with us. And at that time, they agreed to a 80-20 split. So in January, we bid the project and it came in at just under $1,048,000, which was over our estimate. And the county said, no, we don't want to spend that kind of money, reject it. So they asked me to make some changes to the plans and we rebid it earlier this month. And it came in at $946,209.42. Which was $40,000 under my revised estimate. We changed up how the bridge was going to be staged. We changed some of the surfacing material, stuff like that, to get the price down. So what we need tonight, the Department of Transportation wants the county to say, let's award the project. And the county is asking us to say, yes, we concur, let's award the project. So the city share, using the current bid, would be $264,938.64. That's what we got going on.
That's basically it. Everything
All right,
keeps
other comments?
increasing.
Baldridge?
Nothing.
Colin?
Yeah, another thing that needs to be done.
I know.
Kind of
Absolutely.
a bitter pill to swallow, but
Boyle?
I mean, if we don't go forward with it now, we lose out the funding that the county,
Right.
80%.
yeah. I mean, I don't know what other opportunity we're looking for.
So here's the irony with it. So it was one of the first things I did is I had to go to the county and talk to them about this. And at the time, the estimate I think was around 500,000. And we were gonna have to pay, it was 80-20, so we were gonna spend about 100 grand on it and they were gonna spend 400 grand. I'm like, that's probably worth it. So now that so many years have gone by, the cost has gone up. I guess that we're still technically better off from having to spend the entire thing, but we're over we've doubled now to 200 grand. So, but it's a necessity. These are the things why it's so important to have as much contingency into our, I mean, we have pool issue, we have the motor fuel tax is a different story, but when we have issues like this, it's so important to build extra contingency in because you just don't know what's going to come up. So
we have budgeted motor fuel tax monies for this project. We'll have to revisit that resolution,
Yeah.
but we have, I think we put away
Yeah, it's been on.
250, 300,000, something like that. So we'll have to revisit
yeah, the
that.
problem is it reduces the amount of other maintenance that happens on the other things around there. The
Right.
things that, the problem with infrastructure is residents don't want to hear about that you need to spend money to make sure that the water's working, the electricity works, like that. They want to know, hey, what kind of features are we bringing to the city? Is my alley going to get done? That's the question I'm sure you get by 1,000 people now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have to answer anymore, but you do. And so that's why this money goes into that kind of stuff of how we try to get so many projects. So that's the only thing that's unfortunate, that we'll be dumping more of it into the bridge project. But
Well, that's when you got to realize what's more important.
Oh.
If you can't get to your alley or your driveway, and the
Yeah.
longer we wait, the more it's going to cost.
I agree. Okay. So that's just a discussion. We don't have any action that we can take on.
You can make a motion to recommend that you award the project.
Just a recommendation. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Yes, I think you can.
Okay. All right. I'd like to make the motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we recommend the project for Walnut Street Bridge bids to be awarded.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
I,
Kern.
Aye. And then just let me know how they want that, if they just want it as like a letter that we recommended, or how we want to do that. Okay. Number 12, public comment on any topic. You're up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the delay.
It was a gray area. Good evening, council.
Good
I'm
evening.
Tracy Morris, president of IVCC, and I thank you for the opportunity to talk to you briefly about the annexation agreement that will be presented to you this evening. Since we have some new council members, I'd like to share some information related to the building. and for the public as well. In February 2019, IVCC's Board of Trustees approved an update to the master plan that included new agricultural facilities. Phase 1 of the agriculture facilities and ag storage building was completed in September 2020 as an Illinois Capital Development Board project. In 2021, funding from the Economic Development Administration, ARPA, Economic Adjustment Assistance Program, was completed or became available. This proposal for federal funding was an opportunity for phase 2 of our agriculture program facilities. This facility will transform ag education for our community for generations to come, putting the building in proximity to our farmland, which will create innovative hands-on learning opportunities for our students. At the time of the application, IVCC received support from North Central Illinois Council of Governments Economic Development District. We received support from Adam Kinzinger, Sue Resin, Lance Yednock, Bureau County Farm Bureau, Grain Co-FS, Streeter High School Ag Department, LaSalle County Farm Bureau, Marshall Putnam Farm Bureau, and the University of Illinois Extension Office. Since that time, interest and the support has continued to grow, as is evidenced by those in attendance tonight from our IVCC community, our local union leadership, education and foundation leaders, and most importantly, our ag faculty and students. The City of Oglesby also submitted a letter that stated their willingness to annex the property to allow for this important growth opportunity for the college. At that time, Mayor Don Rivera stated, "Please accept this letter as evidence of the City of Oglesby's commitment to work collaboratively with the college, not only to annex the property in which the new agriculture facility will be built, but also to provide utilities such as water and electricity to the property once the facility's construction is complete." The letter also stated that, quote, "The City of Oglesby values the longstanding partnership with the college as the college does as well with the city. It is our intent to move through and finalize the annexation process as soon as possible once the award letter for the grant is processed and received by the college." IVCC received notification of $3.5 million from the United States Department of Economic Development Administration grant to construct the new agriculture education facility. The original date for students was to occupy the building in fall of 2025. We are now looking at minimum spring of 2027 occupancy date, which is right up against the expiration date for grant funding. Losing this funding will be catastrophic for this facility. As you know, costs have doubled since the initial estimates, as you just saw with your Walnut Street project. The college began negotiating with the City of Oglesby on an annexation agreement in December of 2023. I first met with the mayor in October of 2023 to begin discussing this agreement. At the heart of the negotiation has been electrical service and the interpretation of Illinois statute. As of 2 weeks ago, we were very close to completing this agreement. When I spoke with Mayor Curran after the last council meeting, I thought tonight we would be bringing forward an agreement for your approval. But the addition of language that was proposed last week requires that all future renovations of a certain size and all new buildings to require electric service from the city. This has put this agreement in jeopardy. It's a direct conflict with the discussions we've had with the city for over a year. This agreement was always intended to only be for the ag building on the newly annexed property. It has never been brought forward to me to require future buildings to be included. Kathy Ross will share some specific detail related to language and why we're asking you to please approve the agreement without it. IVCC and Oglesby have always strived to be good neighbors. We understand that the city governing structure has gone through a lot of changes. However, we're asking you as the current leadership of the city to please move this annexation agreement forward as presented. This agreement does include power for the ag building from the City of Oglesby, as initially requested. The college has made significant concessions to allow this to be fiscally responsible for the city as well. As elected commissioners and the mayor, you have a choice to allow the college to move forward on their goal of providing state-of-the-art educational opportunities for the ag program, to provide jobs and upwards of $7.8 million in construction to our local economy, and to show that you continue to value our longstanding partnership. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm a little shorter than her. Good evening. My name is Kathy Ross, and I am the Vice President for Business Services and Finance at Illinois Valley Community College.
I can't hear.
As Dr. Morris stated, is that better? Can you hear now? Okay. As Dr. Morris stated, the college began negotiating earnestly with the city of Oglesby on an annexation agreement beginning in December 2023, or 15 months ago. At the heart of the negotiations has been the electric service and the interpretation of Illinois Statute 65 ILCS 511-117-6. In Section B, it reads the following. In addition, an investor-owned public utility providing electric service to non-residential customers at metered locations and areas annexed after the effective date of the Amendatory Act of 1996 shall continue to provide service to those non-residential customers at such metered locations for a period of 2 years after the date of annexation. After the 2-year period, the investor-owned public utility may continue to provide service to those non-residential customers. At any time during this 2-year period, the non-residential customer may apply for service from a municipal utility, and the investor-owned public utility shall promptly and consistent with prudent utility practice facilitate such transfer to be effective as soon as practicable upon the expiration of the 2-year period. Since September 2024, the college has negotiated in good faith, facilitating a discussion with the investor-owned utility, the city, and the college, providing 2 different annexation agreements for the city to choose from, and ultimately agreeing to the following, even though the college feels the may in the statute has been changed by the city of Oglesby to must. The college agreed to switch to the city of Oglesby for electric service after the 2-year period and to pay their customary rates, even though currently with the investor-owned utility, the college has the option to purchase their electric energy supply from a third-party electric supplier to contain costs. This will no longer be an option with the city of Oglesby. We made this concession to move this agreement forward. The college agreed to a refurbished transformer for this project from the city of Oglesby after the 2-year period to save the city money, even though the investor-owned utility will be installing and then removing a new transformer. We made this concession to move this agreement forward. The college has agreed to be serviced by 2 different providers, City of Oglesby for the Ag Complex and the investor-owned utility for the remainder of campus, even though we were told by other professionals it is not good practice to split power between 2 entities for our campus. We made this concession, understanding it may provide challenges for the future to move this agreement forward. The college has agreed to pay the fee that will be required by the investor-owned utility to switch the power to the city of Oglesby after the 2-year period. Again, we made this concession to move this agreement forward. Up to this point, we have made concessions in the area of choice, power cost, quality, and fees. The one item that was always agreed upon by both parties throughout this process was the following language. The parties agree that under no circumstances shall these arrangements create a contractual or other legal obligation upon IVCC to apply for and use city electricity regarding any other existing facility on the IVCC campus. Now, at the 11th hour, the latest draft provided by the city on March 6th, after the City Council's March 3rd meeting, includes additional language that would give the city the right to serve any future buildings or renovations to existing buildings that are currently metered with the investor-owned utility and are already annexed in the city of Oglesby since 1993. Not only is this negotiating in bad faith, it is essentially asking for the college to either limit future growth or be forced to deal with legal implications of this language. In 2011, the college sought clarification from the General Counsel of the Illinois Commerce Commission of Illinois Statute 65, Section B previously read, and Section D, which states, notwithstanding, any municipality may enter into agreement with or grant a franchise to any public utility defining the geographic areas in which each party, as between themselves, may provide retail utility services. An agreement entered into under this section may cover geographic areas both within and outside the corporate limits of a municipality. Any agreement entered into under this subsection, which provides for exclusive service territories, shall be subject to approval by the Illinois Commerce Commission. The ICC essentially confirmed the college cannot unilaterally change their electric provider for currently metered locations. It would be up to the municipality to negotiate and foster an agreement with the investor-owned utility regarding their geographic locations or territories. It was reconfirmed this afternoon by both the board attorney and the college's energy attorney. This interpretation is still accurate, and the language the city is proposing gives the city broader authority than the statute allows. Therefore, we cannot agree to this 11th hour language, as we do not have the authority to do so. The choice is simple. We have provided to the city this afternoon the agreement without this additional language. We ask that you please approve it. As Dr. Morris stated, this will allow the college to move forward on their goal of providing state-of-the-art educational opportunities for the ag program, provide jobs and upwards of $7.8 million for the construction to the local economy, and show that you continue to value our longstanding partnership. It is our sincere hope that you will choose to partner with the college in this exciting endeavor and move this agreement along without any further delay. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments?
Yes.
After JP's, he missed them.
I'll be very brief now, I promise. Just real quick on the pool. I do think we need to allocate possibly some money each year, 5,000 to 10,000, maybe somewhere in that range, just so we miss these big ticket items. And at the end of the year, I can possibly do a walkthrough, because now that I'm getting more familiar with the ins and outs and how we're doing everything at the pool and where our trouble spots are in the previous maintenance that was done before I got here, that's something we can do to alleviate the taxpayers on these big ticket items down there, so that we can extend the life of it as far as possibly we can before we get into some possible serious infrastructure issues. So yeah, I do agree with that 100%. Thank you.
Good idea. Thanks.
Dom Rivara, resident of Oglesby. I don't hear so good, I don't see so good, and I don't walk so good anymore. I'm kind of disappointed that the city and IVCC haven't come to an agreement on this, and I'm not sure I understand why. But if I put together the lady's comments, I think you're willing to go with the city for electric, water, and sewer. But did I hear correctly that you also want an option to leave the city?
Would you like to address that in your current, or would you like me to?
We don't get into a
Yeah, I don't want to
conversation.
get into it. I mean, I can talk a little bit about it during the mayor's report. One of the things I don't want to do is always have a back and forth during public comments necessarily, but we can talk about it if you'd like. I mean, after he's done speaking, if you'd like to go back up, you're more than welcome to.
That was my question, because when the state of Illinois deregulated, and if the city would allow that, then the city would open itself up for anybody else to come back in here and cherry pick our good customers. That's my concern about doing something like that. Otherwise, I hope you can work it out.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
If you'd like to go readdress again, that's
Yeah,
fine.
you can let them rebuttal.
I didn't want to disrupt your meeting. Thank you, former Mayor Rivera. One of the things that we have talked about in all transparency is what that looks like in terms of an out clause. I believe that Mayor Curran and I had a very good conversation. We did not want the power to be all in IVCC's hands or all in Oglesby's hands. So the language that has been proposed would say that if they're not able to fulfill the obligations, we would have the opportunity to discuss, negotiate, including arbitration.
Yep.
And basically that means that arbitration would stand. So we can't just pack up and go home and say, we don't want to take your power anymore. But for example, if all of a sudden the city would cut their workers in half and they only have 2 people and they can't serve, then we would come to the city, we would discuss it. And if that doesn't work, we would arbitrate. So it's not an easy out. And I thought that was something that we have to do. Every good contract has an out clause. That is not our intention. That is not our discussion that we've had. But any good contract requires an out clause. So I felt that the language that was given to me by Attorney Barry in that regard was very satisfactory to both parties, so that we can't pull the plug they can't pull the plug. We would have to do it together.
Thank you. Are there any other public comment? Go ahead, please.
Good evening. Can you hear me in the back? Okay. Brandy Day for the record. Good evening, everyone. This is the last meeting before the ballot referendum vote on April 1st, and I'd like to take just a moment briefly to speak about it. We stand here today as neighbors, as leaders, as people who care deeply about our city. But too often, our differences have turned into divisions. We've debated, we've argued, and we've stood on opposite sides of important issues. And that's okay, because passion and conviction are signs of a community that cares. But tonight I ask you, what if we took that same passion and used it to build instead of break apart? Our city's future doesn't belong to just one side or the other. It belongs to all of us. The challenges we face don't ask us where we stood on one side of an issue or not from last week. They ask us what we're willing to do together to make things better. Progress has never been made by pulling in opposite directions. It happens when we step forward as one, when we listen, and when we seek common ground, and when we choose solutions over stalemates. That's why, for now, I urge you to vote no on the April 1st referendum, not because progress isn't important, but because true progress requires a plan that reflects the voices of all of us. Voting no today gives us the opportunity to come together, to listen to one another, and to create a solution that unites all of us instead of divides us. So let's commit not to winning an argument, but to winning a future for our city. Let's move forward not as rivals, but as partners. Because at the end of the day, we're not just two sides of a debate. We are one community. And when we come together, there's nothing that we can't achieve. And I believe that with my whole heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments over any topic? Seeing none, we'll move on to commissioner reports. And I will have some comments to talk about with this stuff. It was good talk. Commissioner reports. Commissioner Cullen.
Okay. I wanted to start off my commissioner's report tonight by congratulating the Holy Family girls volleyball team on making it to state. Between living here and my full-time job in Serena, I am truly spoiled for choice when it comes to youth sports. I don't have anything office related other than the clerk's office is welcoming aboard 2 new employees this week, which is pretty significant, admittedly. After receiving about a dozen or so applications and interviewing 4 candidates, we decided to hire 2 part-time employees to fill the hours previously worked by a now departed employee. The interview committee was blown away by the combined clerical and events experience between our 2 new employees, Sherry Harlow and Zoe Hancock, and we look forward to fully realizing the value that they will bring to the city. Lastly, much like my friend and predecessor, former Commissioner Stefanelli did for his Italian brethren on Columbus Day, I want to acknowledge my Irish brethren this March 17th. The Irish came to the Illinois Valley 2 centuries ago to escape a faltering Irish economy as well as English colonialism. They didn't immediately do much better here, with many of them living in mud shanties and temporary houses, but would ultimately secure better economic futures for themselves and their posterity between canal digging and farming, with there being 784 Irish family farms in LaSalle County by 1870 and 140,000 Irish family farms in the United States by 1880. Their hard work led their numbers to naturally multiply, and now, without a shadow of a doubt, they are a critical component of this great experiment we call America. Here's the joke. After all, what kind of country would we be without Cullinans, Currans, and McDermotts? I offer to all of my Irish family and friends a very happy St. Patrick's Day. That's it.
Awesome.
I want to take a moment to recognize and warmly welcome Lincoln Bridge Financial Planning to our town. This is an exciting development, and I fully support the opportunities this new venture will bring to our community. I look forward to seeing the positive impact Lincoln Bridge Financial Planning will have on Oglesby. At the same time, I believe there's an opportunity to improve on how we communicate as a council. I recently learned that the mayor received an invite from IBAC to attend the ribbon cutting ceremony at Lincoln Bridge Financial. After seeing the photos on Facebook, I discovered that only one council member had been invited by text, which unintentionally left the rest of us unaware and made it seem like we weren't supporting this new business. To clarify, we simply were not informed of this initiative and the opportunity to participate. I understand there may have been timing or sensitivity factors involved, but I believe transparency and equal communication are key to our effectiveness as elected officials. For us to serve our community well, we must fully be informed and engaged. Moving forward, I respectfully request that all information regarding new businesses and developments be shared promptly and equally with all council members. This will ensure we can work together as a unified team and make decisions based on the best, most complete information. With 2 new commissioners, Austin and myself, I'm optimistic that we can move past any past challenges and build a stronger, more collaborative council for the benefit of our community. I'm also excited to announce March's recipient of the Thank a First Responder Initiative, Dusty Shan. Dusty Shan is a dedicated and longstanding member of the current ambulance service, having joined in April 2006. Dusty has shown exceptional commitment to his community, remaining loyal to Oglesby and contributing significantly to both the ambulance service and the fire department. He is known for his contributions to fundraisers, public education, and various public relations events, always going above and beyond his role. This month's First Responder recognition is sponsored by Lexanne Joros in memory of her brother-in-law, Lieutenant Ethan Quillen, who tragically lost his life in the line of duty as a volunteer firefighter. Ethan was deeply devoted to his family, especially his wife and daughter, and his legacy is remembered fondly by those who knew him. Lexanne sponsors this recognition with a gift from Bex, honoring Ethan's ultimate sacrifice and the continuing service of responders like Dusty Shan. Thank you, Dusty and Lexanne.
Before we move on, are you guys not getting the IVAC emails?
No.
Didn't get that.
We didn't get that.
And I was just across the street,
No.
too.
I would have
Yeah.
went.
So I know
Trust
Stefanelli
me.
used to get them all the time because that's why
Oh,
he would
okay.
know them. So I'm pretty sure you guys got them. The reason I invited Cullinan is because the invite came before he was a commissioner. So I know he wouldn't have seen the
Oh,
email.
okay.
I assumed you guys saw the email, so
Do we have to sign up for that?
we'll
Or
figure that out.
No.
All right.
Guess what will happen tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning? We'll figure out why you guys aren't getting those. So, okay. Commissioner McDermott.
Hillary, that was real good. I'd like to congratulate Holy Family Basketball. Good job. Volleyball. Once again, I stand to be corrected. It's okay. It's one that can admit his faults makes a bigger man. Correct? This council has proven that we're stepped forward by what we approved today with the I-39 and the dry bridge. Appreciate it very much. I'll be going to Springfield later this month to talk to our representatives once again and try to get a grant for the wastewater treatment plant of $40 million. I would like to say that we do have a vote coming up in April. I'd like to see everybody vote. And I would like to ask everybody to please take your signs out of the berm and do not put a sign near a gas line or electric line or even public property. I understand a lot of people say it's pity, but when you have at least 3 people call and are worried that if they call one or the other, it may be retaliated, that is wrong. We need to work together and we need to remember we are all Oglesby, okay? I'm reminded that in Ottawa, I believe it was 1800, Lincoln quoted out of the Bible and said, you know where I'm going with this, don't you? A house divided will not stand. Oglesby stand together. Let's vote, make the right choice, and we'll be together. We'll move forward. Progress. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Baldridge.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate Dusty. It's a great award. I'd also like to congratulate the Holy Family Crusaders volleyball team. It's a great season. As far as the electrical, there was a very minimum storm damage from the severe thunderstorm and high winds on March 14th. We're very happy for that. 5 places were out after a tree fell and busted a pole on South Columbia. The crews were immediately alerted and worked all night into the next day to restore power. Thank you to the electric department. Great job. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Number 14, mayor's report. All right, so before I go into the few items I do got, I will respond about the college there. We too, on the council, are very excited for an ag facility to come. We want the college to be able to expand as many students they can have, as many features, as many things that they can have, because that means there's more opportunity that's happening in Oglesby as well. So, if you look at our, I'm about to read it off again tonight here next. It's very long. It's probably the longest version of the exclusion is. So every time you've seen that means we've gone into executive session to talk about the college stuff to try to get that going. So I don't think there's been a meeting in the last 5 months that we haven't had to do that. So we are actively engaged. Every time, I think every single time we come out of there, we come up with a new proposal that we're trying to work with. I know both sides have made some concessions on stuff. You gotta understand that the council has an obligation to make sure that they're looking out for its residents as well, right? And I know that the president of the college and I've had this conversation before. Is obviously the board has to look out for their constituents. We have to look out for our constituents. The funny thing is, all of Oglesby's constituents are also included into the college constituents as well. So that doesn't fall on deaf ears here. So we are working with it. There's a lot of details that probably weren't necessarily gone over in there. The newest one today that I heard about was the difference between the freestanding building. I think after we got off the phone today, I immediately called the city attorney. I think Austin Cullen was around at the same time. So we're going to talk about that, because obviously if there was something that we put into the agreement that is not allowed, well, then that's something that we would want to do, obviously. But I want to make sure that it's fair to the citizens of Oglesby, because every place right now that's annexed inside the city has been something that's served. The only place that is not served is the college, and that was from an agreement that was done back in 1993. That was well before my time. Can't resolve that. All I can do is try to resolve things going forward. And I can tell you that this board is very dedicated to finding a solution. In fact, I want to say a year ago, we thought we were going to need to come to the solution so quickly. I think we did an emergency session. We came in, it was just for the college to do something, I thought.
I don't remember that.
I thought
but
there
we
was
were
one.
on the verge of publishing a notice for a hearing, hoping to approve it, I know.
Yeah. So we're going to continue to work hard at this. We want to see it be built as well, just as much as anybody. So, all right, that's all I got on that. The next one. Okay, so my first item, actually. Congrats to the Holy Family 7th grade girls volleyball for making the Elite 8 to state. That's pretty impressive. We've got 2 Oglesby teams that made it to state this year. That's fantastic. Number 2, I have some bad and some good news. The bad news, I got a call on Friday from Congressman Lauren Underwood. She wanted to call me to tell me that the Senate is about to vote on a bill, and in that bill, her items that she had included all got pulled out. And one of those items was our $980,000 water project that was down on the other side of the city. I told her that that's unfortunate, and I wish her well on all the challenges she has and stuff like that. She said she'd like to start with talking about what she can try to get in for 2026. I said, that's fantastic. But since I have you on the phone, because she called me. So here's the good news. I explained to her kind of my plan of what I'm trying to do for our wastewater treatment plant. And I joked a little bit with her. I said, I know you're kind of tired of me talking to you all the time, asking for $30 to $40 million of funding. And she kind of laughed back a little bit. What I told her, I says, here's what I'm looking to do now. We've had a lot of different people inside the city, talk to a lot of different legislators throughout the state, federal, and I'd like to take that opportunity to get a letter of recommendation. There is in the revolving loan program that you can get loan forgiveness. Now, right now, the city only qualifies for a maximum of 30% loan forgiveness. There is a stipulation in there. We do not qualify for the points for it, but you could get as high as 60%. I'd like to put a request in and have every one of these legislators that we've talked to sign a letter of recommendation that we can get 100% loan forgiveness for it. Even if we don't get that, which is my goal, if we even get 60% loan forgiveness, we are on a much better path to what we had in the past. She not only agreed to that, she said that'd be a fantastic idea. That's something she can support. She even said she'd talk to a lot of her other legislators out there to see if I can get letters of support from them as well for such an endeavor. So very excited about that. So we'll see how that's going to play out. The third item, I'm debating talking about this or not. I cannot give the details on it. I was hoping I was going to have the final details today, but the land development deal is not final yet. So I will tell you that I'll have some relatively big news in the next couple of weeks to be able to announce for the city that people have been waiting for a very long time. If I do have it within the next week, I might even be able to talk about it at the State of the City's address. So good stuff coming. And then the last item, I want to read off. All right. Since this is our last council meeting before the April 1st election, I want to encourage every resident to be part of the voting process. Off-year consolidated elections often see lower turnout, but the upcoming referendum will likely bring more people to the polls, and that's a good thing. The more informed we are and the more we engage, the stronger our community becomes. There's a lot of information on social media about this topic. It can be difficult to weed through the conflicting viewpoints and decide what's right for you and your family. My advice is to really examine your sources. Ask, are they trustworthy, unbiased, or guided by an ulterior motive? Have they proved honest in the past? Where is your information coming from? Another thing I'd like to talk about is I'd like to compliment actually Commissioner Cullinan on two things. Number one, it's actually been an absolute pleasure collaborating with him on various items in the past 3 weeks. And I look forward to 25 more months of that. Thank you. Number two, I also greatly appreciate his acknowledgement and apology at our last meeting for some of the political climate we've endured over the past 2 elections. I mention that because my concern is that Oglesby might be sliding back into the same negative pattern, where personal attacks and political drama crowd out the actual issues we need to focus on. I've generally lived by the rule, if someone spreads lies or attacks my character, it's not worth my energy to engage, because they're just not that significant to me personally to acknowledge. But I've recently learned that when nobody challenges that misinformation, it can harm others who end up believing it. When that happens, real information and how to move our city forward is drowned out by emotional noise instead of the truth and what's important. If you want well-researched perspectives, there are 2 Plan Commission meeting videos with informed speakers and Q&A by residents, plus 2 advocacy groups sharing their viewpoints. One even hosted a guest mayor local to us who spoke about his firsthand experience with the city manager forum. If social media or news reports aren't your cup of tea, consider materials from the Illinois Municipal League, which offers nonpartisan info on different municipal structures, a fantastic starting point to see the differences. In short, I hope everyone can find the time to look at credible sources and feel empowered to make whichever choice they believe benefits Oglesby the most. Maybe you think continuing our current path we've seen from administration to administration over the years is best. Maybe you prefer a system that more cities across the country are adopting with each election cycle. Either way, I respect each voter's decision. I truly believe that when people understand our problems before us and the options we have, we are all able to make the best choices for ourselves and for Oglesby's future. Thank you for your time, and remember to vote April 1. All right. Next up, number 15, executive session to discuss. This is the long one I talked about that we do every one so far. Do you think I can?
Well, I think that was just left over from the last time.
I don't have to read the whole thing?
Stop at here.
Start right here? Okay. That'd be nicer. The operation by a municipality or municipal utility of the operation of a municipal power agency or municipal natural gas agency when the discussion involves 1, contracts related to the purchase, sale, or delivery of electrical or natural gas, 5 ILCS 120/2C23, and the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, 5 ILCS 120/2C. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
So I believe there was something on a previous agenda that's no longer on this agenda that pertains to the first exemption.
Right.
So.
Oh, that's why.
And maybe the last one.
It doesn't have its number in it, though.
Are we discussing employees tonight?
It's the person to be appointed for the plan commission. So I didn't see the number in it, though. That's why I skipped it.
No, there was no number.
Oh, okay. So I'll do it here. The selection of a person to fill public office is defined only, including a vacancy in the public office when the public body is given the power to appoint under law or ordinance or the discipline, performance, removal of occupant of public office, but the public body is given power to remove the occupant under law. 5 ILCS 120/2C3. Thanks for keeping us honest.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
And then there was nothing with the last exemption that we were going to discuss.
Yeah, I didn't think there was.
Okay, that's
fine. Maybe the wrong one got put on there. Okay, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Aldrich.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. All right, thank you much, everybody. I don't believe we have any planned actions after executive session. Thank you, everybody, and have a very happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, it's,
What time is it?
7 o'clock.
That's a trip hazard. Jack yourself up.
Well, they were sent last week, one day, Jim.
for a while.
Yeah.
So, obviously, it needs to finish. Are you thinking about the spray cap? I know it's kind of funny. Selection. When it comes up, when Milwaukee and then Maryland comes up, they go to Seattle. Like, wow, that worked out pretty well.
Getting the plane.
There you go. Should be only. Good. Yeah. Do they even? You have to give up your skin, leave. If you wanted to stay. Oh, yeah. It would be. Yeah. You'd probably get a lot of. And if they're in the shape of chicken, my pain is
Thanks for earlier. I appreciate it. Yeah, we got to get it done. Okay, let's do this. Let's get going. Holy cow. We had that short of a executive session quite a while.
Okay, thank you.
Watch out for the wire.
Okay. We're back in open session. Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Here.
Cullinan.
Here.
McDermott.
Here.
Moyle.
Here.
Kern.
Here. I'd like to thank everybody that did put in for the Plan Commission. We had 4 fantastic members. We don't need any new applications for it. Really appreciate that. We'll have somebody to appoint at the next meeting. So with that, if I can get a number 16 motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Roll call, please.
Baldridge.
Aye.
Cullinan.
Aye.
McDermott.
Aye.
Moyle.
Aye.
Kern.
Aye. We are adjourned.